Yo, it's TheGIBBYNATR, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how you can get a godlike accuracy in World War II multiplayer. It's going to help you just get better at the game in general, going to help you rank up faster because you're going to be getting more kills, and you're just going to enjoy the game more because you're going to be better at it. So getting into the first thing for having godlike accuracy is the sensitivity that you play on. So I would recommend if you're a beginner player, you want to be using quite a relatively low sensitivity. Now, when I first started playing COD, I was using around a 3 or a 4 sensitivity. You might be thinking, well, that's so low, but when you're not very experienced at Call of Duty, you need to be slow. Your reactions are they're not going to be like a good pro Call of Duty player. So you need the sensitivity to be nice and slow so you can control it nicely. But as you get better at COD, then you can start increasing it. As I said, I started at a 3 or a 4. Now I'm playing on an 11 or a 9, in between that range. For World War II, I play on, it's either between a 9 or 11. I'm just trying to find my sweet spot. So even like the better players, they still struggle to find which sensitivity is best. But then once you find it, you stick with that sensitivity and become a god of it. Back in Infinite Warfare, I found my sensitivity and my aim was electric. It was insanely good on that game. So I'm going to get my accuracy just as good on this game by using all of these tips, and so can you if you use these too. So the sensitivity, obviously, I mean, it doesn't, I say use low if you're not very experienced, but if you like high, it's all about what you feel best with. Like, if you feel really confident with a high sensitivity, use it. If you feel really confident with a low sensitivity, use it. But obviously, when you're using that high sensitivity, it means you can turn on people really effectively. So you can end careers with a high sensitivity, and that's what I love doing. Turn-ons is what I used to play S&D back in Advanced Warfare, and turn-ons were what I lived for. Just absolutely destroying kids, spinning around, snapping on them, really lit. So after the sensitivity, once you find your comfortable sensitivity that you feel most confident with, and yeah, to find out which is your most comfortable sensitivity, come on, get your words out, I would recommend going into a private match and just playing against bots for a good like 20 minutes and just change the sensitivity up every 5 minutes and just figure out which is the best sensitivity for you. So that's how you can figure that out. And then the next thing, this is probably, after sensitivity, this is the most important thing. I don't see many people doing this, and it's centering. So what centering is where the crosshairs on your screen, it's where you get the person that you're going to aim at in the center of them. So in the center of your screen, you get the person you're going to shoot. A lot of people, they just ADS as soon as they see someone, but they might not even be looking at them. So then they've got to drag their scope while they're ADS'd over to the person. Now, I used to be a sniper back in Black Ops 3, so I know the importance of snapping for quick scoping, but a lot of pub stompers, they don't really talk about this, but it's so important. So you want to get people, you want to be un-ADS, so you're not aiming down your sights. You want to move your crosshairs over to a person and then ADS. It's so much more effective, it's much faster and quicker, and it's going to help you actually get a hell of a lot better. Another thing is that I didn't mention about your settings is your vibrations. I would recommend turning them off. Now, I know back in the day, I used to love vibrations because it felt like I was actually using a gun with a controller. But what you don't realise is when your controller's vibrating everywhere, your thumb is going to be moving slightly, and it's only those slight movements that could be like make the difference between you winning and losing a gunfight. So for me, I just turn that off, makes it a hell of a lot better. You don't get, it's like it limits all your distractions as well. You're just focused on getting your shot on. You're not having to control the vibration of your controller because you're already controlling the recoil of the gun in the game, and then when you have vibration on, you're having to control the recoil of the bloody controller, so you don't want that. Another thing is turning your safe zones down to the smallest possible area it can be. So the safe zones, what comes up at the start of every Call of Duty when you first get the game, and it tells you to make it the same size as your screen. So it's a setting that always happens at the start of the game, and it'll be like, move the safe area to the size of your monitor. I'm going to tell you to do the opposite, move it to the smallest bit. This is going to make it easier to see the minimap, all of your HUD, and that means that you're not having to look really far away, and that means you can focus on your accuracy as well. Because if you think about it, if you're playing on your big monitor and then you're looking at the minimap, which is going to be a good distance away from your gun, you're not looking at your accuracy, so you're kind of just guessing where you're going to be shooting, or you're just looking with one eye, which your accuracy is not going to be great. So the closer you can get the minimap to your gun, the better. That way you can have good minimap awareness as well as having that really good accuracy. So after that, I want to talk about pre-aiming. Now, a lot of people, kind of haven't been doing this as much the past couple of years because stock hasn't been as effective. But this year is boots on the ground, so pre-aiming is key. I'm telling you, you don't want to get caught off sprinting. So what you need to do is you would use the infantry division. Now, once you start ranking that up, you get the ability to move faster while aiming down sights. Now that's going to mean you can aim round corners and move pretty fast at the same time, so you're ready for people. You're already ADS, so you don't have to worry about like the centering and stuff like I mentioned before. You're already ADS, so as long as you're predicting where people are going to be and you're aiming in that exact position before they get there, you're going to win gunfights 100%. Like, your accuracy is going to be so much better because you're already aiming on them. So the only reason you're going to lose gunfights is because of the recoil, and that brings me on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So with different guns, you have different amounts of recoil. So with your SMGs, they normally have a lot more recoil because they have a higher fire rate. With your assault rifles, they normally have low recoil. But as I say, some SMGs might have a low fire rate, so they have low recoil as well, and vice versa for the assault rifles. They might have a lot of recoil because they've got a fast fire rate. So with the ones that don't have too much recoil, you can just hold the trigger down. You don't have to worry about anything because it's basically 100% accuracy and doesn't miss. They're the god guns. But then you've got your guns that have a bit more recoil. Now what you want to do with them is initially you won't be too great with them because obviously you're not used to the recoil. So what you want to do is tap fire. So that means with your shooting trigger, you just tap it, and that means so when you press it, the recoil goes up, and then you come off, recoil, the gun drops back down, and then you can shoot again. So that's not the most effective way, but that's where you want to start. As a beginner, that's where you want to start. You want to be burst firing, kids. And especially at long range as well. If you're shooting someone across the map with like an SMG or a really high recoil gun, you want to be burst firing, because if you hold the trigger down, you're going to be shooting all over the place. You want to get those shots to hit. But then once you get that on point, then you can start controlling the recoil all of the time and just hold the trigger down. So what I like to do, every single gun has a different recoil pattern. Some will kick up to the right, some will kick up to the right and then to the left. So you have to pull on your right stick with the opposite pattern to that. So I'll use the example I just used there. If your gun kicks up to the right, you want to pull on your right analog stick down to the left. That's going to cancel out that recoil up to the right, and you're basically going to have no recoil. Now you've got to, I would recommend going into private match, just figuring out where this is, go to a wall, shoot it, hold the trigger down, and just notice the pattern of the gun. So find the gun you want to use, find the gun you're best with, and then you can master the recoil pattern with it. So you shoot the wall, notice the pattern, then counter it with the technique I've just told you. That will improve your accuracy so much. Black Ops 3 with the VMP, I got my recoil pattern perfect, so I could map kids with that gun. And it's exactly the same with this game, your PPSH and all of the other really high fire rate guns, like the WAF, you really need to be pulling down. And the next thing I want to talk about is snap aiming. Now snap aiming is where it's kind of related to the centering, but I don't know, it was really good last year in Infinite Warfare, and this year it'll be really good as well. But this is more for your high sensitivity players. So instead of aiming down sights and dragging across the people, you want to just use the aim assist to your advantage. So yeah, that's another thing. If you don't play with aim assist, please put that on. That is going to help you so much. If you're turning that off, I don't know what's going through your mind, but you need that shit on because that's really going to help you, and especially for snapping. So you want to use a high sensitivity, and then you want to do your centering, and when you center people in your ADS, you get way more aim assist than you do if you just aiming down sights and then dragging to people. So it's going to help you in those gunfights because you're getting essentially what is AIMBOT. And the aim assist is really quite strong in World War II, so snapping is pretty damn good this year. So you want to center, ADS, it will snap onto them. You might have to do a bit of correction if you're like quite a bit off, but if you are perfect with your centering, the aim assist is going to take you straight onto them, so you're going to get a lot of kills there. And then the final thing that is going to get your accuracy godly in World War II is your attachment choice. Now your attachments are everything. Different attachments affect your gun in various different ways. They're going to affect the recoil pattern. So you've got rapid fire, for example, that's going to increase your recoil. But then you've got attachments like the reflex sight and the foregrip, they're going to decrease your recoil. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to use rapid fire, which I do recommend because it's an OP attachment in World War II, it's going to help you kill kids very fast, but I'd recommend you definitely put on the foregrip if you're not confident with your accuracy yet. And also if you're really unconfident with your accuracy, I'd also put a sight on your gun. Now the sight is just going to, it's not really going to improve your accuracy as such, but it's going to make it easier to actually see people. And obviously if you can see people, then you're more likely to shoot them. But with some of the iron sights in World War II, they're kind of bulky and you can't really see people, so that sight is just going to make people more clear, and then you're going to be able to notice them, snap onto them with all of the techniques that I've told you in this video. And as I said, right, it's all about practice. You've got to find your sensitivity, and then it's all of the things that I've said in this video, then work on them. I would recommend you like pin this video, I don't know, put it in a playlist and watch it later on so you can improve, because you're not going to get all of this from this one video. It's a lot of information all in one video. But if you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like on the video. It's much appreciated, shows that you're enjoying the videos and keeps me going. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new for more really good tips at World War II so you can become the best player possible. It's been the GUBBYNATR, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.